Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and a brand new video on Marvel Contest of Champions. I am elated, absolutely delighted. Turn out that this video is going to be a rank up video. I haven't done a rank up video in a long time, but I'm very happy to be doing this rank up because it's a character I think I pulled a couple of months and he was the #1 contender for an awakening. And awaken I did. Nightcrawler has been 440 for me for a very long time, and he is getting catapulted up to rank 5. I've taken this character, awakened him with a standard 4-star awakening gem. I've then added on 38 signatures because I don't think I've got an awakening, but I have indeed put him up because he thoroughly deserves it. He is a delight to play with, and also we'll get into some fighting and kind of showcase the character in his rank 5 form. Let the level and ranking up commence. Now, before we get into the details of the video, obviously a lot of people point out that I do look a little bit like this character. So, do you know what? I'll take that as a kind of a compliment there. I would probably use my teleportation powers for good, as I'm not a religious man myself, but I know that Kurt Wagner is a religious man, and he would obviously do good by his powers, which he does. So what led me to go for Nightcrawler as a character to rank up? And it goes down to the attributes. Attributes are quite good for the character, so we'll switch over to percentages to have a look at it this way. So crit rating is 24%, and then we've got crit damage rating 185%. These are two very substantial things, especially go quite well with the setup of my masteries, the way that this character gets things with precision. And I've got obviously cruelty things, so the crit rating and also crit damage with other elements of my masteries are set up in a certain way where this character becomes a really meaty character when it comes to dealing out the crit damage and dealing it out quite regularly. This character gets a kind of run-of-the-mill kind of armor rating of 10%, and it's a pretty standard thing. You see that in amongst most characters, unless you've got a certain character that's got a huge armor rating attached to them. For example, Captain America World War II. I think that Thor's got a good armor rating with him. And when it comes to the block proficiency, 62% on a character like this is quite good. I think it's a little bit better than certain characters that you expect to have more block proficiency. So 62% block proficiency is actually quite good, and as well does work with some masteries. I think mine's set up with regards to block proficiency as well. So, hey, I'm getting some extra percentages on that, so you cannot go wrong. If we just quickly compare off the character to other characters, now this is a 99 rated Scarlet Witch, huge crit damage rating, and also good and substantial crit rating in general. So 26% against the 24%, so it's an increase of 2%. And then crit damage rating 200.1%, so an increase again by 15.1%. But the block proficiency obviously is a lot lower. And compare that again with Black Widow, which is 26% crit rating, 200.1% crit damage rating, and then block proficiency 57%. So for characters that do a huge amount and it's based on their crit rating and their crit damage, there's not so much of a difference. So with the level 38, which it is at the moment for signature ability, I'm sure that as it increases, we could see some kind of like huge increases for that character. So I'm quite excited to develop this character, increase the sigs, and see what happens at the end. He's going to be totally sick. Oh, and before I forget, and this will be coming up in a future video with regards to Symbiote Spider-Man, just comparing off something just to show you this. This is the crit rating and crit damage rating for a 81 signature level Symbiote Spidey. So 31% critical rating and crit damage rating of 220.1%. That's pretty good for a rank 5 cosmic, especially of this variety. So many things brought me to this character, apart from a personal interest and liking the character, and I have done a comic book history video on this character, which is in the description below. The aspect of Bamf Evade, the aspect of precision and also bleed a big kind of draw for this character. Granted, it's not something that I usually fall back on as a character, because I'm all about my regeneration, because playing on a device like this, like an Android device, it's not a great device. Finding a character that can regen, because sometimes mistakes happen. I don't know, you know, it happens. Make mistakes. That's why a regen character is always good, because it rewards against failures and mistakes. So it's not really a character that I usually go to. However, though, I'm finding that the evading and the bamp thing is kind of airing out a lot of those mistakes. So instead of, like, you know, I may miss the swipe back, the character evades for me, which then means I don't need regen characters quite so much, because the character is evading for me theoretically. The champion as well is a go-to champion when it comes to things like Alliance Wars, and you'll find a lot of nodes featuring this character. Stun nodes, stun immunity nodes, sorry, loads of different combinations I've seen people doing, unblockable nodes. You name it, people have tried the character on there in order to really pee off people fighting against them, and it has been noted at times that people opt for a non-awakened Nightcrawler because of the engaging in different modes. The aspect of keeping the character in Neothem Heritage mode, sorry, Neothem mode, is the one that they opt for most. So non-awakened Nightcrawler getting that 22% chance to evade incoming attacks, and then also increase 15% against attacks that would deal physical damage, become somewhat of a go-to. So you may find at times going, hey, why is that an unawakened Nightcrawler as a boss, or an unawakened Nightcrawler as this? That's largely why. And I think if people could scale back the awakening, so similar to rank down tickets, but maybe awaken down tickets, where you take off an awakening off the character, or maybe you can switch off characters for awakened ability, that would be good, because then you may find, in this case, not in all cases, but in this case, it may be a champion well used for things like I said, Alliance Wars. One thing I really like about Nightcrawler is when he hits critical hits, there's a 70% chance to strike a deep wound. It's a high percentage, and the damage is good, so imagine constantly hitting that. If you've got something like a crit rating team, or you're utilizing a strong mutant team, and we'll go and look at that in a minute, then you're going to really pad this character out with significant damage output, and also at the same time he is going to be not taking quite so much damage, but for the point of the bleed, of the critical hits, love it. Downside is it doesn't work with your masteries for deep wounds. So if you've got it on, it's its own built-in deep wound, so you're not going to see any great difference to your bleed. It's just going to be standard based on that. Another thing that's exceptional about the character is the idea that you can swipe back, you can dodge, and you can't be hit during that dodge. And I have had so many times where I've been trying to kind of escape a too intense battle, obviously swiping back, and you see the enemy just kind of like bulldoze into you whilst you're moving. I suppose the same thing can be said for characters like Rhino, because obviously they'll become somewhat unstoppable. So the idea that you can just get away from trouble and not get hit, so you can reevaluate and then choose a plan of attack. It's also important for that point where you can just go, you can swipe back, get straight into getting your switch of mode. So you may say, right, I want to be in AFM mode, I want to be in swashbuckling mode. You have time to evaluate rather than being punished for escaping. Nightcrawler specials are quite unique in any case, in that L1 and L2, depending on what mode you are, it depends on what the enemy will get with regards to damage based on you hitting them. So if you're in your NFM mode, then it's 33% chance to evade for 10 seconds. It just increases the chance to evade. And then you increase your crit damage when it comes to swashbuckling mode. When L2, it's block proficiency for NFM mode, or then it's for swashbuckling, it's deep wounds, 33% extra chance. And then the final one is 27% chance to increase deep wounds, and it doesn't really matter what mode you're in for that one. So there's not really much to say about the character. The long and short of it is great bleeds, great evades, great crits. what can you ask anymore in a character? Especially a character that can have multiple applications in different areas. In particular, obviously Alliance Wars, but he does have his uses in the battle realm in some endgame stuff. So what I'm going to do now is throw this over to RichTheMan, who's going to play out a game against Winter Soldier with Nightcrawler and a fantastic Mutant Synergy team. Unfortunately, my phone has, well, I don't really know what's going on with it at the moment. All I know is that sometimes the screen record of late has just been failing and pausing my game, or it's a problem with the game. So at the moment it's paused, in that it doesn't, at the moment, I can't do anything more. It's just like that, I can't do anything. But I think what I need to get is the main point about this character. The idea that you can swipe back and go into different kind of modes. I spent most of this battle in a swashbuckling mode. I found it more enjoyable, and I was able to kind of cut through this enemy character so much like butter, effectively doing so much deep wounding, the attacking side of things, swiping back and getting that precision, and being able to put in these kind of mad crits, just like boom, 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 boom. And it's just so consistent. It's a really consistent character. Yes, I made a few mistakes, but not as much to make me kind of go, well, I'm a super bad player, taking 2 minute hits that don't do too much damage, so to speak, on a character that has a larger health pool than mine and also a higher attack is good. It's not amazing, but it's good at the same time. So I'm happy with my performance. I'm amazingly happy with this character. I think I'll be playing with him a lot more because he's rated as being a high-end type character for using different things. I'm going to use him a lot more. I don't know if I'll take him into Alliance questing, but I might be considering it. I just need to play a little bit better with him. However though, amazing character, you know, thoroughly recommend using him a lot more if you have him. Man, I maybe have to kind of like shoot to get him at 5-star, but I'm happy with what I've got so far. Anyway guys, if you really enjoyed this video about Nightcrawler, then please hit that like button and subscribe for more Marvel Contest of Champions content. Also, please watch the video about some Nightcrawler history. I've put a link in the description below. It's a good video, thoroughly recommend going over and seeing it. And yeah, catch my social media link is in the description. Don't forget to put your notifications on. Thank you Notification Squad for seeing this video first and giving me your love and appreciation. As always, catch you on the flip side. Bye bye for now.